Hello and welcome to Happy Foot Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug and the only LAFC podcast that's spoken entirely in Korean. I'm Travis Helwig.
I'm Vince LaRosa. It's going to be dubbed, right? No,
we have really good English dubbers. I'm Darren Miller. Welcome to our preview of LAFC's MLS match this week for Chicago on Saturday, August 9th at 5:30 p.m. at SeatGeek Stadium in Chicago. You can watch it on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV Plus, and our live post-game call-in show will start 10 minutes after the final whistle at youtube.com/@HappyFootSadFoot. Dress code for the live stream is our latest merch available over at HappyFootSadFootPod.com, except for our twice sold out Don't Ask Questions limited edition patron only scarf, but tons more stuff is available on our website. And if you're a Patreon member, you get a 15% discount.
Later in the show, it's finally time for our Q2 quarterly review of how the season is going. And of course, we'll discuss all this week's storylines and we'll make some bets. But first, for those of you joining us for the first time, our fans are obsessed with this section of the show. They demand it every time we try to get rid of it. It's time for listener-mandated banter. Welcome, everyone, to the most exciting part of the show, where we riff.
I do have something. I came prepared.
Oh,
I wish I hadn't. And for those of you that wonder, we were talking about sleep before we started this episode. We do actually talk other than these episodes, and when you happen to see us, all three of us together on Christmas Tree Lane pretending like we're friends.
That's true.
We usually talk about how to best make it clear that we are friends in public, even though we hate each other privately.
Oh yeah, we script those moments too. It's really fun. So I felt like genuinely sleep deprived, like woken up, thrown out of my bed in the middle of the night last night, and when I saw who our opponent was this week, I felt like something is going on, because what happened to me was, and I don't know if you guys have fire alarms like this, the fire alarms in our apartment, they are connected. They are wired into the wall. So not only do they have batteries, they are wired into the wall. Well, at 1:45 in the morning last night, sound asleep, actually went to bed pretty early, was like, I'm going to get a good start to the day on Thursday, screaming with the noise of the fire and a weird woman going, fire.
Oh yeah, I got that woman.
Yeah, so we popped up and I was like, obviously terrified, wondering was there a real fire, and then did the first thing that all Californians do, and it was like, fucking just turn it off. There's clearly not a fire, which could have been true, and it would not go off. And if you have one of the smoke detectors like this, you can pull out the batteries, and because they're wired in, it will not go off. And so I had 3 different ones. The pets are terrified. Cody's like trying to figure out what's going on, and I'm sitting there just like pound. I got to the point where literally I pulled it off the wall and I was about to cut the wires, which probably would have electrocuted me. But for a good 4 minutes this happened. Finally got it to go off, and by the way, in the 4 minutes it would go off for maybe 30 seconds and come back on, so which was really fun, because then when it finally went off, I laid there the rest of the night being like, if that fucking thing pops back on like out of nowhere.
You're still up.
Like I was like, I'm not going to be, it's not going to surprise me this time. And so I feel like the Chicago Fire have put out a hit on me in only the way that they can.
This is weird. So that might be true. Yesterday, Allie was coming home with the kids and called me as they pulled in and was just like, you're okay, right? And I was like, yeah, why? And she's like, there's a fire truck parked right outside our house. So that was weird. And then she's also going to pick up, Keaton's at Nana Camp, we call it. He's up with his grandma like 5 hours north. So Allie's going to pick him up and bring him back on Saturday. But there's a big fire right in the center of the route right now. So now we're like talking about plan Bs. So I don't know. Fire has now that you mention it.
Camp now.
The Chicago Fire is
fire is like low key haunting both of us, I think.
Yeah, Travis, look out. There's still some days before the game.
If we want to go deep, my house burned down as a kid. I think they might have been. They might have been really. Yeah,
this goes all the way back.
I mean, the Fire were a team when it happened, and they must have known if they're this powerful.
They were like, we know we want this guy. Let's start there, and then we'll take it from there.
This is all long way.
I went to the very first Chicago Fire game ever, actually.
Did you really?
Really?
Yeah, they played the Metro Stars, and it was or maybe they played the Revolution. I forget who, but I remember I got a pin because they gave everyone inaugural game pins for the Chicago Fire.
And this goes even farther, because do you know who the coach of the Chicago Fire was that day?
Bob Bradley.
Was it?
Of course.
He's coming for us.
Whoa.
He's mad that we're not as mean to Dolo as he wants us to be.
That just reminded me, did you ever get those Snoopy World Cup 94? I have like a Snoopy World Cup 94 pin. That is...
Darren, there's nothing I want more in the world than that pin.
Really?
It's cool because this is not an actual vintage, but I'm wearing a World Cup 94 Panini throwback trucker hat.
I'll find it. I'll find that pin, Travis.
Not to change subjects too drastically, but this came up the other day talking to someone about kits. Not a fan of the denim USA 94 kit.
The stars?
Think it's stupid. Think it's ugly.
Whoa.
And the people that say they like it are doing that as a bit.
I think it's one of those things that clearly it's not good. However, it is a rare moment of real American soccer history where it's like, fair. I can appreciate this.
It's such a move.
The way they made it, if you read about the way they made it, like they had to Xerox because they need to get like that kind of pattern. Like they didn't have like the kind of screen printing tech that we had back in the day, and they Xeroxed something to like over and over again to get it. I thought that was even cooler than the actual jersey, but the jersey is mid.
I have a feeling we're going to have some sort of homage to that this World Cup. I just have a feeling.
Well, it's an Adidas kit that Nike would be referencing. So that would be interesting. But I agree. I agree with you on one hand. On the other hand, I feel like Nike would be like, but fuck you, Adidas.
Yeah. Yeah, potentially. I also didn't get sleep last night, but it's not for any good reason. I just didn't sleep. So if I seem insane, that's why, everyone.
I didn't get sleep last night because I never do.
That's the thing that you and your doctor need to talk about. All right, that's enough banter. I think we did it. We realized that there's a curse on us by the Chicago Fire.
Yeah, if you didn't already hate the fire, hate them more now. But we're gonna stop the banter because there might be.
Hate the flame. Yeah, that works. Don't hate the fire, hate the flame. That works.
I think you just named the episode.
No, it's Here Comes the Sun. I already decided. Darren, take it away.
All right.
We can start the show, but we have a message from our sponsors today.
From our sponsor, Swiffer Wedja?
No, an actual real sponsor this time. Can you believe
we weren't getting paid this whole time?
Not at all. No, I was paying out the ass to Swiffer.
It is expensive.
Yeah, I was licensing their brand name. It's extremely expensive. You ever notice how some law firms advertise like they're fielding a World Cup squad, but when it's game time, all you get are the bench warmers?
I have noticed that, yeah.
Can you guys give me some details on the last times that you've dealt with a law firm?
I'm not legally allowed to.
Yeah.
That's right.
NDA, baby.
Yeah, doctor-patient confidentiality.
Yeah,
but let's just say
I'm just saying all the abbreviations I know.
Doctor-patient confidentiality.
That's my doctor. That lawyer's my doctor. You can't ask.
That's why I can't talk. I showed my lawyer things I shouldn't show.
At Amirian Law, they're not about bright billboards or cheesy jingles. They're focused on what really matters, winning your case and getting you the compensation you deserve. With Amirian Law, you get more firepower than a Bawanga blast from day one when you need it most.
Hell yeah.
So if you want a law firm that plays like a team but delivers like a star striker, call Amirian Law at the special Happy Foot, Sad Foot, Friend of the Foot phone number, 1-866-ARE-WE-BACK.
What?
1-866-AREWEBACK. That's 1-866-273-9322. Are we back?
I feel back if we have a special number for a law firm. That feels special.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
I think we're so back. Well, I guess we could say we're back from commercial.
Okay, I think that means we could start the show. Darren, go ahead.
Okay, well, as the more casually obsessed LAFC fan on this show, I love LAFC and I'll never miss a match, but I don't have time to stay on top of all the advanced stats, roster moves, rumors, tactics, and off-the-field drama that I can't get from just watching the matches when all I see watching a match is ball get kicked, ball go in net, Venezuelan boy hyperventilate. Luckily, my friends Travis, the human LAFC crazy wall, and Vince, the LAFC patron saint of tactics, are here to catch me up every week on the most important storylines that live beneath the surface of every match so we can all enjoy them so much more in a segment we call Storylines.
Darren, Vince, Dince, I come to you on this, one of the most important weeks in LAFC history, with the storylines for this week's match. And the first one is the storyline that has been on everyone's mind for months now and has finally come true, and it's this. Is Heung-min's son the biggest signing in LAFC history. Just a few days ago, we signed Sonny, Tottenham superstar, the best Asian player to ever play the game, and potentially the best player to ever play at Los Angeles Football Club. I'm curious, now that we've talked about how good he is in the past, what you guys think about this signing now that we know the details, we know how long it's for. He's locked in for a couple years. He's through next season with 2 player options after that. Is that correct? Or is he through 27? 2 seasons and then player options after that. It's a good amount of money we spent. We broke the record for money spent on a player to get him here. And it is clear that it has broken through with the news media covering this the way that they have. Vince, I want to ask you first, how do you think this signing compares to our other marquee signings in LAFC history? And is there anyone that came over that is as good as Son is now when they joined the team?
That one's really debatable because I want to remind people how good Carlos Vela was. And I think people forget because he was not on one of the bigger teams in Spain, but he was definitely one of the bigger players. I wrote down just a couple of stats from his time there. In the 2012-2013 season, he had a combined 24 goals and assists. That was one more than Karim Benzema and Cesc Fabregas. And by the way, at the top, I think you can guess, is Messi and Ronaldo. Vela, a lot of players were in and around, let's say 24 to 28. Those guys were in the 50s and 60s. That just shows you how unreal Messi and Ronaldo were in their combined goals and assists. But then the next season, 28 goals and assists total. That's 5th. That was 5th in the league. Once again, Ronaldo, Messi tops, but Carlos is 5th in the league. Do you know who he had one more combined goal and assist then in that season? Former LAFC
Bradley.
Bob Bradley. Yes. Former LAFC coach Bob Bradley. No, Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale. And actually, I looked it up as well. Anton Griezmann, he had 9. Anton Griezmann was 9 behind him in that season. They were teammates. So he was better than this guy that we so badly wanted when he was there.
Griezmann was just a Rossi.
Yeah. He's just a sidekick. He was Robin to Carlos's Batman. But Carlos did. It tapered a little bit for him. Ahead of his move here, and Son's numbers for those that are well, what do Son? Son's numbers are bananas. Goals plus assists. I'll just read them by his first full season at Tottenham. 20 goals plus assists, 18, 18, 21, 27, 30, 16, 27, and then last year 16. So a little bit of a dip. We talked about injuries. You could argue either way, I think, for who is the most talented player coming at a time. I'm going to give the edge slightly to Carlos, just in ultimately who was not more talented, but I want to give him the edge because of this. When Carlos came, there was nothing. He knew nothing about, all he knew was Los Angeles. We could have been dog shit. We could have been FC Cincinnati, right? And he came here off of these seasons in which he was legitimately close to touching the ungodly greatness of Ronaldo and Messi. And he was like, sure, I'll go there. Son gets to come here knowing that Carlos Vela laid the groundwork for how good this team is. But without a doubt, Son is, as Bale was pretty famous. It'll be tough to gauge if Bale was more famous or Son, but Son is clearly worldwide famous, beloved by an entire country. It reminds you of Shohei Ohtani levels when they were 10% of a country's population are watching Dodger games. That's out of control. And that will be LAFC in Korea. There will be Korean media here. There will be people that know nothing about soccer going to games solely to see this person. The games will be obviously on Apple TV. The games are always going to be broadcast in Korea, but they'll be rebroadcast. And I guarantee you the subscription numbers will be going up. He has that level. That's something that Carlos didn't quite bring. He brought it in a subsection of Southern California and obviously Mexico, but Sonny is worldwide. So I think you can make arguments either way, but I'm going to give the edge just a little bit to Carlos because of what was here before he came, which is nothing. There was nothing.
I think you're right too, because also, we have hindsight with Vela, where Vela fully delivered in every way he possibly could for us, right? Sonny, we have to wait and see a little bit. There's a world in which it doesn't work out, and then we think about this as not even close. But in terms of what the impact feels like, not only for the club, but for a community and part of Los Angeles, this feels different than anything besides Carlos Vela, right? Like Carlos Vela really got people behind this team. And I think a lot of new fans will be joining LAFC because Sonny is joining this squad. And you can just feel it. Like even if Gareth Bale is maybe more famous on paper, he didn't have the devotion that Sonny has. There's a level of like, Son is the Michael Jordan of South Korea. People are obsessed with him. And Wales ain't that big of a country, unfortunately. So it feels like it's on a different level. And also, we have such a massive Korean population here that it's just going to be, we will be the biggest soccer team for Korean fans for a while. And I think that is something we can't underestimate. Our jerseys will be all over Asia. Darren, I think knowing all these new fans are joining the club, or at least might be tuning in to see their favorite player, what do you think, as the king of the casuals, they need to know about Major League Soccer and what's different about MLS versus the soccer they might be used to, either in the Premier League or, normal leagues?
Sure. I think different than normal leagues, it's definitely an Americanized experience in the sense that there's like playoffs instead of promotion relegation. Part of why it's so exciting and why LAFC fans are so excited that we have Son on the team now is that normally there are a lot of rules that really hamstring the teams in order to create greater parity amongst the teams. So between no promotion relegation and playoffs and these rules that make it, you only have 3 DP slots, 3 slots to spend a lot more money beyond the salary cap on players.
The designated player slot, the DP slot, is you have 3 players you could pay whatever you want, and everyone else has to be under the salary cap. That's what that means.
They do hit the salary cap at a higher level, but at a capped level. To your point, Travis, you could pay $100 million. They will still hit the cap at the maximum budget charge, which I think this season is about $620,000.
Right. So you can blow past it with these 3 slots.
And you should.
Right.
Yeah.
And so teams do, but beyond that, they can't. And so between all of those things, you end up with a lot of parity, which means you can be pretty far down on the table and still have a good shot at making the playoffs. And then the playoffs come and it's a different sort of format than you might be used to. And it's almost anyone's game. And the charge towards MLS Cup, there are obvious best teams, but if you're not having a good season, you could still pull it together. And there have been instances of teams pulling it together at the last minute and making amazing comebacks, moving up the table enough and winning MLS Cup. It creates an interesting dynamic in the dog days of summer that we're in right now, where the season can feel a bit like a roller coaster and you don't know whether all hope is lost or not, but it kind of never is. What else can I tell them?
I think that is a really good thing. It's actually a positive about Major League Soccer in a weird way, where like in a lot of these top leagues, who the champion is weeks before the season ends, and you're just playing sort of lame duck soccer for promotion and relegation. Anything can fucking happen at the end of the year in Major League Soccer. And so if you like chaos, if you like true randomness, if you like the first seed Messi getting kicked out by Atlanta United, a team that barely did anything all season long, but was able to beat him in 2 games, and suddenly Lionel Messi can't win MLS Cup anymore. If you like chaos and belief and hope in a team that maybe feels hopeless at times, you're going to like this league. And I think that's what makes Major League Soccer so fun, for me at least, is it reminds me of college sports in a lot of ways, where it's just like, it may not be the prettiest version of the game, but it sure as hell is going to be fucking fun. And you're going to watch some really, really insane things happen more frequently than you will in other leagues.
I think the other thing that is worth keeping in mind that comes out of the restrictions on roster moves is that it means there's an interesting combination of teams not having the depth that you might want and schedules that are jam-packed because you have tournaments going on during the season, like Leagues Cup that we just did, Club World Cup we had this season, there's CONCACAF Champions Cup. So you play a lot of games, and the US is bigger than most countries, so you do a lot of travel. And that means there's a lot of roster rotation. There's teams that play on turf instead of grass. There's injuries. So a big factor in a lot of teams' success is their ability to rotate and have depth pieces and be able to rely on their star player. So Son has come at a time when LAFC is in need of both, and he certainly checks off the star player box.
Vince, anything we missed in terms of what people need to know about either the league or the team?
The star player is important. I think in this league, you learn so much that your stars have to be your stars. They have to be there in the biggest moments. We learned that in the MLS Cup final when Gareth Bale had that header. When your star, and to Darren's point, because you have a limited amount of slots to have, bona fide world superstars in, when you miss on those, or they're injured or they're not performing, it's not much you can do. You can hope that another guy plays up to a level. Like I remember Jordan Morris from years ago before he was DP, was playing at a DP level on a lower contract. Like Seattle reaped the benefits of that because then they could fill in those other slots with stars making more money. But you can't count on that. Like that's just kind of like a sweet spot that every once in a while you land in, and eventually, as happened with Jordan Morris, you got to pay that guy. I mean, we've seen that with LAFC as well, where like guys played better than they were, or the team had success with them, and then the guys were like, "Hey, pay me. I deserve to be paid." And MLS rules basically say, "Sorry, guys, not much you can do. If you can fit them under, you're gonna have to lose somebody else or miss out on something else, or you move them on." And LAFC, it is what it is. They've decided at times to move guys on. They haven't really been precious about some of the things, and I think that's something different for if you are a new fan of MLS. I mean, Son will be here, but there will be a lot of players turnover, a lot more turnover than you're used to. Like Son and the team he played for in Tottenham, a lot of those guys were together for a long time. That will not be the case with LAFC. It's built into it. It's not LAFC's choice per se, but the league builds it into it, and you have to make hard decisions, much harder decisions than I think almost any league in the world has to. Also,
with respect to LAFC, it's also worth noting that, I mean, this is true in MLS in general, but more so than other sports in America, this is maybe more similar to other soccer leagues in the world. This is a very community-oriented team. There's an amazing fan community here, and if you want more resources and information and things, it is very easy to find. The LAFC subreddit is a great place for that. If you want to join our Patreon, the Discord is like lively. You will find fans here that want to welcome you with open arms and give you everything you need to make your experience as a fan more fun.
Stay off Twitter, I'd say. Stay off Twitter pretty much. But
I mean,
other places,
that's an across the board rule, though.
We're not physically able to stay off Twitter.
Yeah, it's wired into my brain. If you can help
yourself.
If you want to become an LAFC fan, the single easiest way to do it is to Google 2022 MLS Cup extended highlights and watch all 10 minutes of that video. And by the end of it, you will be a fan of LAFC. Okay, so that's our first storyline, all about Son and his impact on this club and what it's like to be a fan of this league and how fucking bizarre it is. And that brings us to our second storyline, which is this. What the fuck did we just learn from League's Cup? Obviously, we've been knocked out of the first round, phase one of League's Cup. 4 teams moving on from Liga MX, 4 teams moving on from MLS. God damn it. Stop it.
Phase one.
But I think, the tournament started poorly for us, and there were a lot of weird moments about it. But I would say overall, we did better than a lot of MLS teams. There's only 4 slots left. We knew it was tough to get through. We got, I think, 7 points in 3 games, which is respectable. We didn't lose a single game. So I'm curious, what did we learn about this team, if anything, from League's Cup? Vince, do you want to take it?
I think there's a few important lessons, but these are also lessons that I think we have brought up at certain points this season, and I think we're just reiterating them, and this tournament really highlighted some things that going forward, I think we should keep in mind. First and foremost is touching on kind of what you said, Travis, margins. I talked about it with Club World Cup, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear me talk about Club World Cup again, but LAFC did not play quite that bad, and they still got knocked out of the tournament. I'm not saying that they definitely deserve to go through, but it really came down to just a few moments, and this is something that a lot of people can't seem to reconcile or don't want to reconcile. And I understand because you don't want to think about this sport in this way, but I hate to break it to you. There is so much luck involved and there's so many bounces that either go your way or not. And I know that makes you upset because you're like, well, how do we control it? Or why do we even watch? It's actually what makes it fun. It's a low scoring sport. You got to imagine every goal is worth that much more because of the fact that there's so much just chaos and randomness. But I will say that like for every great goal, like, LAFC scores a goal and they put up those highlights of like, look, there was 25 passes. I bet you I could pick out 3 or 4 times in which somebody made an error and another pass got to go through and that allowed that goal to happen. And that's not to put down the player that made the error. That's the cool part of the game. Like the errors are built in. The errors are part of the game and you have to get through them. And so in this tournament, we look at LAFC and you can be upset that they didn't go through. I would say 4 teams out of 18 going through slims that margin that much more. But LAFC realistically hammered Mazatlan, wasn't able to capitalize, gives up a decent finish, but a goal that, like, generally speaking, you're not going to give up that goal, loses in penalties. Then comes out, plays very well in their next game against Pachuca. Looks like they're going to kill Pachuca, go away, win easily. And then a red card puts them in an instance where now their backs are against the wall. A player that we think all season has been one of the bright spots and one of the smarter players decides, I'm going to try to flick a ball in my own 18, Mark Delgado. The team scores. They have to win in penalties. And as we've seen in this tournament, winning in regulation is the way to go. That's what's going to get you through. LAFC already against it. But then they come out and they play Tigres. And this will like segue into my next point. They come out and they play Tigres and they have a game that I think we all like. We just enjoyed it from front to back. There was adversity in the game. They obviously go up and then it's tied, but they managed to find a goal. There's just so many nice things from that game. All said and told, after they put out a lineup that everybody was screaming about how like stupid it looked, right? And so it just goes to show you like things happen in this sport. And that segues into the next thing I think we learned is this team is insane. If you're not already there or you're like on the edge, it will probably drive you insane because that Tigres match is not something that should happen. I'll agree with you. You put that team out there, that Tigres team should have killed that LAFC team. That Tigres team was stacked. They brought in a guy for their starting forward, their other starting forward, which by the way, the one starting forward, Joaquin Correa, is a Champions League level player, Argentine international, had 4 goals going into that, 4 goals in 2 games going into that. And then the guy that they bring in for the other starter is Gignac, who is a legend in his own right. And they're like, yeah, we can bring this guy off the bench. And he gets no joy. Like he comes out early in the game because he's not really effective. He had a couple of somewhat chances, but basically spent most of the game scrapping with Sergi Palencia during corners. And
he got really upset with Sergi.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Sergi does. Like he finds the one guy that's like, who's going to have a worse game if I pick on him today? That's the guy. And he goes and gets after it. And that's why we love him. But that team, this is like LAFC this season. They can play poorly, but they are in almost any game that they want to be in. And that goes without having their best talent on the field. Bouanga wasn't even in the 18, right? So this team will drive you nuts. We hope that the addition of Sun will right things a little bit. Because one of the other big lessons we learned is, which we've known all along, is LAFC doesn't have a secondary star. I think David Martinez raised his hand in that Tigres game and said, like, maybe I could be it. But we've seen this a little bit from David, and we hope that he will continue on, but we're holding our breath a little bit. We need a guy that we can really count on. But the last thing I'll say is, like, that's sports, baby. Like, just enjoy it. I think that there's a subsection of people that really want to just have the game figured out before it happens. And I kind of get it. Like, I understand it. I saw that lineup too, and I was with you. Weird lineup. Don't feel good about it. But like, what fun is it in like already being like, oh, they're just going to lose, so I don't care. Like, I somewhat understand that, like putting your expectations low so that if they happen to win, it's like people that gamble might bet against the team that they like, so that if they lose, they win the money. And if the team wins, they're happy because the team won. Yeah.
I did that for MLS Cup 2022, actually. I bet $100 against LAFC.
Yeah. I'm not I'm not speaking to anyone specifically, but it's just like, where's the joy, man? Like, it's one of the reasons why I don't make, like, again, I get it. I bristle, and I'm guilty of yelling at people too, and I try to pull back, but like it's one of the reasons why I don't make these big sweeping predictions, and maybe people get mad at me and are like, well, oh, you whatever, Vince, you're a shill or you're just too wishy-washy. But like I can look at any game and tell you, okay, this team plays this way, this team has these guys, this guy's out. Okay, here's the problems this team's going to cause, here's the problems that this team could have. I think the game might go this way. And I could be pretty close to right. But those people that just show up and are like, oh, they're going to get murdered. Like, it's cosplay. Just enjoy the game, man. Like, enjoy sports. Like, that moment, we're not going through. You know who else is not going through? Tigres, probably, from that moment. But, like, we talked about this.
Crazy. Regardless
of, like, what happened after with the Club America game. Like, some things aren't about trophies. Just win games. Enjoy the moment. It's the high wire act that makes it more fun. Like if we just knew we had a team that was the Harlem Globetrotters, what's the point? Like really, what is the point? And I know I'm not winning over any of those people that are like, well, fuck you. I just want to have the best team and I want to win everything. I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to those fans that are like, I feel a little turned off by the people that tell me I can't just enjoy the sport and watch the game and I don't need to know everything about it. I don't need to be like, oh, well, this is not going to happen because of this and this. Just show up. Show up. You'll have a good time. I think LAFC Stadium is one of the places. It's getting better in MLS. I would say there were fewer, but it's getting better. But LAFC is still one of the top places where like you could know absolutely nothing about the team. And to Darren's point, go on Reddit for a little bit, ask who the favorite players are, then show up to the tailgate, make some friends, and you will have the time of your life. And then maybe something cool will happen in the game. I want to embrace those people more. And I know those people are usually the quietest, either on our Patreon or watching games, or maybe they don't even show up to games because they are scared. Like, we want you there. We want more people that are just there for the sport, that are just there for the fun. Don't worry about the people that talk about plastics or any other weird, thing that they're trying to show off. Like, you're welcome here, and like, just show up. If you just show up, you're going to have a great time. And that Tigres game was, again, just another emblem of that. Like, if you went that day, and I think a lot of people might have saw the lineup and be like, maybe I'll stay home. Well, think of what you missed out on by staying home.
Yeah.
I love that, Vince. And I also think something that we've discussed recently too, that I think I just want to say out loud is like, I think there's sometimes, because we have these streams after the game, this feeling that we should speak for the fans writ large, that we're the voice of the community. And I don't think we are that. I think we're our voice and we speak for ourselves. And that's all we've ever claimed to do. So you don't have to agree with us 100% of the time. You don't even have to feel like what Vince said is right, even though it is. But like, we're just ourselves.
This is always right. That's another good thing to know about MLS and the team.
Yeah, if we could circle that around for all the new fans, that would be nice.
Darren, I want to get back to Leagues Cup really quickly. Vince touched on it a little bit. Obviously, a clearly rotated roster. Were there any players that, after seeing them play in this Leagues Cup, getting more minutes, they're like, okay, yes, you're part of the roster. You should get more minutes now because of your time in Leagues Cup?
Yeah, Smolikov.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of others.
I think there's a couple.
I mean, Hasal, I would have been nervous seeing him go in as a second string keeper. And now I'm fine if he has to come in to start. But obviously I want Lloris starting. Smolikov, I will be happy when he comes off the bench, when previously I would say when he's coming on, I felt like who knows what's going to happen.
The other two players I would say that didn't have minutes that earned their minutes are David Martinez, who I think played an exceptional game, and we should try to keep riding it out.
I want to say, when he came in before, when he was coming on, I was never like nervous. Yeah. We think he's capable of more, but like he's still like good.
Hope springs eternal with David Martinez. Like I'm willing to give him chance after chance, but at the same time, I know that like I've been hurt before. I'm not gonna blindly say like you can stay in the game. It's okay. You'll figure it out. No, there's some games he's just not going to figure it out. And what might be better served is for him to be yanked off the field and told, like, it ain't good enough today, kid. Well, you'll get him next time, and there will be a chance for you next time because you're incredibly talented. But don't count on it all the time, though, either. Like, just because you're young, we talked about this a while ago. Like, you're a young player with talent for so long, and then you wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm 26 years old. Well, you're no longer a young player with talent. And you think about all the years that you've lost, like he's got to make sure that he doesn't become that player.
Yeah. And then I would also say Kenny Nielsen, over the course of a 3-week span, became a person that I am comfortable playing as many minutes as he needs to play on our back line. I think, and Kosi Tafari, we already sort of knew had that in him, but made a couple of mistakes here and there. Kenny Nielsen came out of nowhere. We did not know his name, and I think he's a member of the rotation now. And I think we learned that during Leagues Cup. All right.
Can I also say real quick specifically, I think Smolikov showed that he can be really useful on set pieces, which we only found out, I think, because Bouanga wasn't there. And I think that's a huge win to hopefully see more of him taking corners and free kicks that aren't like shots. That I think we were all starting to get tired of, like the one guy who scores goals taking corners and set pieces that aren't going to result in goals.
I think Smoley potentially was in the top 4 or 5 players on the field every game of Leagues Cup. Just had a really unbelievable run, and we were not fans of his a couple months ago, and has just shown that he's grown into this league and this team. And Artem is a welcome addition, I think, to the rotation. Okay, finally, our last storyline of the week, and it's this. Are the Chicago Fire still a soccer team? I don't think we play the Chicago Fire ever. Have we ever played a game against the Chicago Fire?
Yes.
I'm sure that we have, but I don't think that's true. I cannot remember for the life of me a single game against the Chicago Fire. Is there anything?
I remember one goal. Diego Rossi scored a banger, like a looping left-footed volley.
And Diego Rossi has not been on the team for 6 years.
Yeah, no, it was definitely like in 2019.
Let me look up head-to-head to see the last time we played. Well, just to say, Chicago is middle of the pack in the East, 35 points. Vince, what do we need to know about this Chicago team? We're playing in Chicago. We don't play great in weather, but it's summer. Mm-hmm. What do we need to know about Chicago and the terrifying tactics of Greg Berhalter?
I don't know what the weather is going to be like. I'll leave that to LAFC Luke, who always does a great job. But if anybody has been to Chicago in the summertime, it can be brutal. So it gets hot and muggy and gross there. Chicago Fire are the eternal team in transition. And I don't mean transition like they play on the counterattack. I mean, like, they're always like, well, next year we're going to revamp the roster and that's going to be the year it works out. And like, they have some very nice players, but like, players that you would think, like, they have Kellen Acosta, who you'd be like, that's a great player for them. He's a good linchpin. Well, he's not playing that much. He's still there. Yeah, he's been having some injury problems.
Wait, can I interrupt you really quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Here is our head-to-head against the Chicago Fire. 0 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. We have played the Chicago Fire twice in the history of our team. Last time the draw was 2019.
The Rossi game that Rossi scored.
The draw was 0-0.
Oh, that was 0-0? Okay.
It was 3-1 in 2018. They beat us in Chicago. And then at home, we drew them in 2019, and we have not played them since 2019.
Wow.
So we are winless against the Chicago. Okay, so new storyline.
You're saying
Can we break the Chicago Fire curse?
Well, I mean, clearly the Fire are worried about it if they're attacking our homes. They've come for me. They've come for Darren. Travis, they came for you in your infancy. They tried to
They planned ahead.
They tried to snuff out this show in its infancy. Before Travis even had an inkling he would ever have
disgusting
one of the best LAFC podcasts of all time. They tried to snuff that out. Think about that.
They ended up creating the monster they feared.
Yeah. Think about it.
They jokerfied me.
He was emboldened.
But like some real on-field stuff, Hugo Kuipers is a good forward. You got to look out for them. The Fire are like all gas, no brakes. They score a lot of goals. They also give up a lot of goals. So that should theoretically make for at least a fun game to watch. Greg Berhalter's team usually wants to play some possession, but that does leave them very open to counterattacking, which we are very good at. So, and they also don't have the best center backs. So I could see a world in which the Fire, when they're on their game, can move teams around and they can do some damage. And they have, as I said, a forward in Hugo Kuipers who can finish, or they could, make a mistake or two. LAFC could hit them on the break and it could carve them up, and it could be a long day there in Chicago. I alluded to it earlier. I can kind of tell you what the strengths and weaknesses of the teams are, and that's kind of how the game lays out. That's how I kind of see it. It could go either way in that instance.
Now, I assume Sonny's going to travel with the team. When do you think we'll see first minutes from Son? When do you think he's going to come in as a sub? Do you think it'll be before our home game against San Diego? What do you think?
I do think he'll play before, and there is a chance he could even play in Chicago. I mean, remember, it's not like he's finishing a long season. He was in the preseason process with his team, playing games already, playing, I believe, getting up to in like the 45, 60 minute range, right? So he's got to continue to do that, to put on, like, the way these players work is they load early in the season, they build up to a level of fitness, and anything that kind of hampers that really sets them back. And it almost is like you have to restart it from scratch. And I think they'll look at Sonny and go, like, we can't have that. Like, let's continue his progression. I'm sure they'll have talked with him. I'm sure they'll have talked with Tottenham, what his preseason has been like, where he's at. I could see him being, I don't think he starts. And I'd be surprised if he started even before that San Diego game. But I do see him playing minutes at some point. I think it's more likely in the next game. But as subs, sure. And maybe Dallas, he starts in Dallas. I don't think he's the type of player where they're like, we got to baby him. Like, get him on the field. If he and I think he's the type of player, he strikes me as a guy that enjoys his football and would much rather be playing. I don't think he wants to spend, that San Diego game is the first. It's almost a month from now. I don't think he wants to spend a month being a bit player and traveling and not, helping his teammates. So I think sooner than later, just with everything we know about it and where he's at in his season and where he's at in his preseason, would not be, don't miss the games. That's what I'm saying. Like, make sure you're watching these games, because if you want to see the first time Sonny steps on the field for LAFC, it could be sooner than later.
Darren, final question. Ever been to South Korea?
No, I can't say I have.
That'd be a cool place to go to.
North Korea?
You'd ask me that. Oh, North Korea. I summer there.
Walkable?
Very walkable. Yes.
Yeah, there's no one on the street. It's
There's
really
no
nice.
one there.
All right. Well, those are the storylines for this week. When we come back, it's time for the LAFC Hafo Safo Quarterly Review.
And we're back. Here at Happy Foot Sad Foot headquarters, our success is driven by a relentless focus on quality and continuous improvement. And we're constantly striving to raise the bar and exceed our customers' expectations. We believe that numbers never lie, and if we stay accountable and take ownership, if we celebrate wins but don't get complacent, if we learn from failures and mistakes and focus on the big picture, small wins can lead to big victories. Now that we've made it through half of the MLS season, it is time for the official Happy Foot Sad Foot Q2 quarterly review. We do this every year. We have had a Q1 quarterly review. We did a number of things in our season preview episode at the beginning of this season to sort of predict how this is going to go, set our expectations and our hopes and dreams. The first and most important of which I will say is the LAFC fantasy draft. We each drafted 4 LAFC players to our squad, Vince, Travis, and I. The rules are that whoever's team of 4 has the most goals at the end of the season wins 1 free bacon-wrapped hot dog outside of the stadium, which as a previous winner, I can say is worth it. Traditionally, Denny Bouanga, our star player up until now, still one of our star players. Not one of our many star players.
Don't put him down like that. Wow.
No, he's now one of many star players.
I thought you were just saying that, like, the sun has eclipsed his star.
No. There is now a sun and a star. The sun is just the biggest of stars.
That's fair.
Traditionally, Denny Bouanga is off the market, but in our first ever segment within a segment, the pre-LAFC Fantasy Draft, LAFC Fantasy Draft rules debate, we officially deemed Denny Bouanga on the market, except for penalty goals. So Travis took him with the first pick, and I'll just spoil it. Travis has been running away with it all season. So let's get into your team, Travis. You have Denny Bouanga, who has not slowed down. Denny Bouanga has only non-PK goals, 13 goals in all competitions.
Not bad.
7 in MLS.
Not bad for Denny.
Not bad. I'll cut to the chase. That's Denny alone is beating both Vince and I.
Almost
you also
combined.
have David Martinez.
Almost combined.
Who did not help us in the last match with a brace.
He has
3 goals in Leagues Cup, 3 goals in MLS. Yeah, and then Igor Jesus, who's the only player that only has 1 for me. And then Marky Delgado has 3 total, bringing me to 23.
Total.
23 is pretty good compared to how I've done
23 total, yes. At this stage in the season, halfway through, 23 is huge.
It's interesting that when I'm here and drafting for my team, I do really well. But when I'm auto-drafted when I'm not here, it doesn't seem to go as well for me. Interesting.
Blame the computers.
Yeah, I don't know how that goes down. That's so interesting.
How many goals do you guys have?
Let's start with Vince, I guess. We don't have to waste our time with my team. So Vince has Giroud, which you'll see soon why I can't make fun of that.
I mean, I think he exceeded all expectations with 3 goals.
He ended the season with 3 goals, which honestly, when I saw that, I was like, oh, he had 3? Okay.
And he did score 2 goals in his first game in France recently.
Sure.
Preseason game.
And then Bobasi, who matches all-time leading scorer for the French national team with 3 goals also.
Was also now probably out for like 6 to 8 weeks. No big deal.
Hollingshead.
Oh, you have Odin Holm. That's such a funny.
And Odin Holm, who has 0 goals and 0 minutes.
So you have 2 people on your team that do not play for LAFC.
I'm pretty sure he's a fictional character.
So Vince has 7
He's the
total
Kaiser
goals.
Sose of LAFC.
Yeah.
It feels like a Will Ferrell bit that he announced a signing of a fake player.
Yeah.
With names that are like thrown together from different. He's like,
Norse
Odin
gods.
Thiago Holm.
So Vince, you have 7 goals total in all competitions.
Not bad. One more than David Martinez has. On
my team is like the embodiment of a forfeit, I would say. We picked these at the very beginning of the season. My first pick was Kike Oliveira, who
strong pick
was gone from the team, literally gone from the team before the episode was released.
Well, not officially.
The following morning.
Do you want to do this for sure?
Yep. Remember I said earlier how I don't sleep ever?
Yeah. Darren
or was
just rolls
that before
the dice.
We started recording?
You must be fun in Vegas. You're like, let's just go all in, baby.
Listen, baby, I'm fun everywhere. Timothy Tillman, who does play a lot and has not scored yet.
1 penalty.
0 goals for him as well. The same amount of goals as Kike Oliveira. And my hopes were high for Oliveira, but not as high as they were when I drafted Antoine Griezmann.
You both have 2 players who are
also
not on
0
the team.
goals.
Well, all my players started on the team, at least.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought Antoine
Nathan
Griezmann
Ordaz was the last pick in the entire draft.
The last pick of the draft, Nathan Ordaz. I don't know if he was the last pick in the whole draft.
He might
think
not have
it was
been
a
the
very
last
shrewd
one.
sleeper pick from me.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I picked him up. He alone has matched Vince's 7-goal total. We are now tied for second place.
He's doing that.
I can't tell. Does that speak more poorly of me or Vince? It's impossible to tell.
So I have a proposition about the son of it all, right?
I certainly do.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I'll say last year I got Giroud at this point in the season when things were going poorly.
And that worked out really well for you.
It worked out really well for me. But I had to give up multiple players to get Giroud. I had to make a desperate attempt to make up. I didn't just get him. I had
if
to
you're going to
sacrifice.
propose giving up multiple players, I can name a bunch right now for you.
I'm going to say that you guys do not have to give up multiple players unless it's 3 players a person. Here's what I will. No, here's my proposal. And you guys can tell me if you have a different proposal. Either we figure out a way for one of you to get him, or you split the goals and you both get him. And it's just halvesies.
And it's just added to the team.
Yeah.
He's everybody.
That sounds fair, but I'm going to propose something less fair and better for me.
And also, I didn't finish what I was going to say. I get to also swap out a player that isn't Son.
That you choose?
Yeah, that I get to choose.
That isn't already selected, or you get to pull it off of our roster.
That isn't already selected. A player that's not selected.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. So my proposal is last year you got Giroud because you had, I believe, we were hoping for Antoine Griezmann to join the team at that time last year as well.
I think
so
you had Messi
had also
on your
made
team
the Hail Mary
last year,
pick,
actually.
and you had Messi. You had 2 players that at that point at that point in the season represented one player that was Hail Mary hopes that LAFC would land as a star and would get in the transfer window, and one player that there was a 0% chance would play for the team from that period on. And what do you know? I have the exact same situation right now to fulfill the same precedent that was given last season, which was Kike Oliveira, 0% chance he's playing for the team, and Antoine Griezmann is the Hail Mary transfer window landing that I'm hoping, which is exactly who Son is.
Last year, you guys were fighting for first place and I was out. Right now, the two of you guys are fighting for silver. It's unfair to Vince, I think. Vince, anything you want to say?
I think it's very unfair to Vince, absolutely. That doesn't make me want to do it any less.
The only way I would agree to this, and I still think it's a very low probability, even with Son, that I would catch up to Travis, because Wonga's still going to score goals, despite what everyone says that they can't play on the field together. I think it's going to be good for both of them. If Darren gets Son, I still think there is a very real chance LAFC adds another attacking piece, and it's a designated player who may not be as big of a name, but he should just go straight onto my roster. There's no debate. I just get the guy, and I get to have him. And Travis, you can add Schwanier. I don't give a shit, but I get that guy.
We could do that, or also I could give you Ordaz and just take Son.
That gives Vince a fighting chance. You give him 7 goals right now?
Well, wait, do I get does
the
that
rest of the goals?
Yeah, I don't get yeah. You know what?
I don't know.
I think you guys should just
honestly,
split Sonny's goals.
I'm for whatever creates the most competition.
I think splitting's fun, but I kind of want to roll the dice. And
so
hope
in this
for
situation,
a third DP.
So this gives you guys both firepower. Darren's going to get a lot, so I need something in exchange.
You clearly need nothing right now, but let's hear it.
Well, I should get a player without losing a player. If you're both going to add, because the person I'm going to add is not guaranteed.
But we lost players. You should have to get rid of a player.
But I'm gifting you the ability to draft someone you didn't draft at the beginning of the season out of the kindness of my heart. I can say no to all of it.
You do have.
But you're also taking
I
advantage
have
of
all
that.
the cards.
You do have 4 players on your roster. Darren has 2. I have.
This isn't about fairness.
1.5.
This is about victory.
Oh, then I should just get Son.
No,
I thought
no
it was
one
about
should
fairness.
Get Son.
I was willing to make it about fairness.
Get Son because you didn't draft Son at the beginning of the season. One year I drafted Griezmann and Messi. Darren tried to pick who it was going to be.
All right, who are you going to add to your roster to just have an extra body?
I won't. I'm not going to decide that until we know what you guys are going to do.
Okay.
You guys decide amongst yourselves.
Next. We'll talk about that next. So let's say, Vince, how about this? How about if LAFC fills that third DP slot, it's yours, Vince. And if they don't, then you retroactively get one of my still active players. Whoever has the most goals besides Son.
Sure, I would say we don't even have to go that far. I'm willing to roll the dice because if we split Son, then it's like it's not. I don't think it's going to tilt the scales, and then it's just going to be me and you.
Right.
I mean,
so what is it? I get Son. I give up Griezmann and Oliveira because let's not even look at their names on this list anymore.
Yeah, and I get the third DP, no matter who it is.
Okay, and he's just added to your team.
Yep.
Well, I guess for Giroud, let's say.
Yeah.
So we don't have to look at his name.
He replaces Giroud.
Okay.
I'm going to write this down.
Yes, and you get to pick any other player who is not. I would say
you get to pick any.
Instead of saying it's Steve, Vince, you should just get the first next pick.
I was going to pick it for you, Yao Yaboa.
Well, here I was going to say Smolyakov at first because he's come so close to scoring so many times and he's really ripping shots, but he doesn't play as many minutes.
That's true.
So maybe Schwanneri. How do you say it? Schwanier? Schwanier. He's a more attacking-minded midfielder, right?
Yeah.
I think let's go with him. And Smoley, I just don't think Smoley's going to get enough minutes compared to Schwanier.
One day.
So I get to add, while keeping my 1 goal from Igor Jesus, I add Schwanier.
Fine.
So I have 5 players. You each have 2.
I want you to have him just because you're gonna have to say his name over and over again.
Schwanier.
I don't think you'll ever get it right.
Tu t'appelles Schwanier. Je m'appelle Travis. Travis does not work well in French.
Nope. They don't like T's at the beginning of words.
Nope.
To start with, and S's at the end.
Travis. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. Does this currently? Did I do it right?
Yes.
So yes.
All right.
Vince gets the third, and there's a world in which we don't get a third. I think we always get a third DP, even if they're not worthy of a third DP. So Vince gets that person. We do need another attacking person, especially because there's a world in which Abobasi's out.
I can't wait for it to be Carlos Vela on a special.
Oh my God.
Imagine. He's back, baby.
He's back.
All right. Half a season left.
We'll see what happens. Okay. We had a series of bold season-long predictions. I'm going to go ahead and say I think we need new ones for the rest of the season because so far the beginning of the season predictions have not gone well. Mine was that Giroud would get the golden boot. I really over-indexed on Giroud predictions, but so did you guys, as we'll see. Travis, You started with a great one,
It
which was
would've
that
been a
San
really
Diego would
good
end
one.
the season with more points than the Galaxy and the Earthquakes.
Something
and
no
then
one
said-
predicted at the beginning of the season.
No one told you anything. No one told you to get rid of that one, but you said, no, wait, I don't want to do that. Instead, I will predict that the Columbus Crew will not make the playoffs, which is still in play and still possible, I think.
Kinda.
But they are, I think, second.
They have
in
not clinched the
East right now.
playoffs.
No, they have not clinched the
crazy
playoffs.
if they didn't make the playoffs.
It would be the craziest drop in a long time.
And Vince, you predicted that an MLS team will win the CONCACAF Champions Cup and that it probably won't be Messi's team. It's insane how close we were to that working out. And then our old friend, Mateusz Bogusz with Cruz Azul.
They literally shit the bed.
Vancouver. Yeah.
Vancouver shit the bed.
They really did. They blew it. So we also had a few other side predictions here. Vince, you thought that there was a very real chance David Martinez could be the guy that breaks out the way that Bogusz did this year.
Still possible.
I would say that before last match, I would have said that is maybe no longer in play. After David Martinez's performance in the last match, that is very much in play. Travis, you and both of you went on the Soccer Wise podcast at the beginning of the season, and they set the over-under.
I don't think we'll ever be welcome back.
They set the over, although they were right there with you. They believed you.
Yeah,
they goaded us into it.
Yeah, they set an over-under on Giroud goals to 12.5. All four of you took the over. And then at our quarterly review after Q1, I gave you guys the chance to retroactively take the under with the risk that if he turned things around and got the over, you would look even worse. So you did take that deal. You both took the under, and that was right.
We saw the writing on the wall.
And Vince, the best prediction we've had so far this season, Vince predicted that if Dolo, the question was, there was a question brewing as to whether Steve Cherundolo, our coach, would be leaving the team in some way. You predicted that if Dolo was going to go out, he was going to go out on his own terms. He did so. He will be leaving at the end of the season by his choice. We need some new bold predictions, I think, to get to our Q3 review at the very least.
I have a bold prediction.
Okay.
LAFC will win MLS Cup.
All right.
That's a fun one.
That's all I'm going to say.
Writing it down.
I'm riding high after this last week. Our B squad beat Tigres, and then Sun joined. We got more people coming in. Who needs Darren?
I'll let's say Sun will win if the Golden Boot started today. He will have the most goals from this point forward in MLS.
That's I like that. Yeah. It sucks because he's not going to play that many minutes in the next few weeks, but I like that.
And this is just MLS goals, let's say, including playoffs.
Sun second half golden boot. Sun golden sneaker.
Silver boot.
Silver boot. Vince?
These have to be bold, so I'm going to go very bold, and I will say that Denny Bouanga wins the golden boot.
Wow. He's so far behind.
Yeah, well.
I love it. He's not that far behind.
Teams are going to have to start guarding another very good player, and maybe that'll work out for our man. It will be very interesting when both players are on the pitch. Who takes a penalty?
I think it's Bouanga to start. I don't think he's giving that up.
I think so too. But I mean, there was games where I remember there was a game where they thought they won a penalty and he had given the ball to Giroud to help him along, and then they didn't get to take the penalty. So he does have it in him.
Well, that is our quarterly. I think we touched base. I think we circled back and saw what's going on from 30,000 feet. You guys feel good? Well, all right.
I think so. I think we're ready to hit the ground running in Q3.
Just really hoping John Thornton is still traveling the world, scouring the world for that third DP.
Well, we'll see you guys in Q3. When we come back, we're going to make some more bets.
And we're back. Now it's time for a segment called Bet It and Forget It.
Bet it and forget it.
This is a more specific version of betting. Every week we end the show with a bet for this week's game. We make an outlandish prediction, something that almost definitely will not happen, but could. Each week we all put up $5, and if no one hits, the money rolls over to the next week, and eventually by the time someone's weird prediction comes true, they might win a good chunk of change. And they have. for what I believe is a back-to-back, maybe the first back-to-back Better Than Forget It victory in Halfo Sappho history. Or maybe not. Someone check that. Vince bet that the signing of Son Heung-min would come by the end of LAFC's Phase 1 run in Leagues Cup. His win came during their last match as he was shown on the big screen at the match with LAFC forward as his lower third graphic. Written by LAFC, by all accounts, an official declaration
it was
of
an
his role with the team.
By the team. That he was
they
joining.
would
incredible way to win.
Could you imagine if they were like, "Oh, we didn't get a deal done"? Like what?
It would have been
Well,
wild.
they could have been coy about it. They could have been like Sung Hyun Kim, like star player for the South Korean national team or something.
Guarantee you,
or not said who he was.
Knowing what I know about the inner workings of that club, that was run by John Thorrington, and John was like, "I'm cool with it." There was no chance.
Right.
It would have been funny if it said like Los Angeles resident,
right?
or
like
even cooler,
LAFC fan.
They put him up there, and then he looks and he signs his contract on camera.
Oh wow,
that would have
been
really cool.
He should have signed from the stands.
Do you guys remember when Kylian Mbappe was there for a game a couple years back?
Yeah.
So I knew the person running social media for LAFC at the time. Obviously, I had worked with them at one point, and generally, even when I worked there, we would go back and forth on like, oh, what should we write for things? Like I would help out with the copywriting, and he was like, oh, we got this. What should we put? And it was a time where they didn't have a third DP, and I was like, right, well, we do have a third DP slot open, and he had it, and then he was like, hold on, and they had to text it, and like I told you, it went up the chain, and they were like, we think it's funny, but no, you guys cannot do that. So just to pull back the curtain on how
potential third DP,
we were just going to write, well, we do have a third DP spot open.
Oh, that's
question
so
mark.
Funny. That's so funny.
And I think what we ended up writing was something along the lines of, oh, he's just an LAFC fan, or something like that. But
that's funny.
But we had it, like it was in there, it was ready to go. We were ready to hit send, and then he was like, you know what? I better, which is always better than what could have happened. But I'll tell you what, if we would have written that thing would have gone crazy. We would have got way better numbers.
People would have been pissed.
Yep.
All right, it's time to pay Vince.
I think I did win on a somewhat technicality, and I think I would like to donate the money if we could. And I know that we had somebody reach out about a good cause, and I would wonder how we could get the money to that cause in some way or the other.
Maybe we should do the ceremonial Venmo and give you the money on this show and then follow it up. We can do our research and make arrangements, and then we'll give an update on what you decide to do with your money.
Hookers and blow.
If the money's still there,
it's we can
next show we can say what you did with it.
Once that money's in my pocket, guys.
Yeah. It's technically a non-profit, Hookers and Blow. If you're the one,
Does Venmo give you analytics on?
I think
on
what you're not
how long
Darren,
money stays in your account.
You're not grasping here is this is a cry for help. I cannot take that money knowing what I'm going to do with it, and if you guys never send it to me, I won't have to do something bad. You're not. Travis, help me out here. You get what I'm talking about.
Why, man?
Throw Travis under the bus. Why don't you? Blink twice if that's not a bit.
Vince, are you ready to claim your prize?
I already know what the script is, and I'm very upset about what you're going to say next.
Sir Vince LaRosa of Sublime's Long Beach, do you accept thou reward of 130 American dollars?
I do.
It is my great honor to now bestow unto you the Bet It and Forget It Ceremonial Venmo. Has thou Venmo been received?
Guys, I've already spent it.
What's half of
that was fast.
What's half of 130? I would have to figure out what they said.
Wait, was it supposed to be 130? I think that might have been accidentally copied over from the last time he won. It's 120.
Okay. So 60.
Guys, you're not going to see me for like a week.
All right. The pool for this week is $15.
Wow. Such an exciting one.
Go big.
I had a prediction that I felt very confident in which was that Son will score this week. But I think that is not big enough for this. Like now that we're at $15, we can go back to being a little reckless with our bets, right? We got to go outlandish with them.
That seems reckless. There's like a 2% chance he even plays.
I'm gonna make an even more outlandish bet.
Okay.
Giroud scores.
Kenny Nielsen scores.
Oh.
Kenny Nielsen
with a bicycle
goal.
kick?
No, but I did think about that. If it's a bicycle kick, I get double money. If it's bicycle kick, I get $30.
Fine, you double down. It's like you split aces here. I'm cool with that.
That's
all right.
my bet.
That's good.
How do I top Kenny Nielsen scoring? We say $15, but if you could just win like $15 every week, maybe we should
That's true.
Maybe we should reassess our strategy. When everyone else is going big, you just go like,
with compound interest.
Yeah, think LAFC has a shutout.
That just sounded like something you could say.
Has a shutout, or Hugo makes a penalty save, and you just keep.
How about this? Every week instead, we each put $15 into Bitcoin, and then
and then we'll be in debt.
I will say I'll just go somewhat in the vein that Travis didn't want to go, but Sonny hat trick. It's not gonna happen, but
hell yeah,
be cool if it did.
My bet will be LAFC will be responsible for one if it's cool it counts goal.
So it didn't count, but we'll say like, that should have counted.
Yes, it has to not count. It has to be
a goal that
does not
gets
count.
Disallowed. Yeah,
it goes into the net. Well, I mean, there are some that are like goal line technology. They're like, that should have counted, right?
Well, so there's also misses that are fantastic chances.
No, that doesn't. But that doesn't
really gray area.
No?
Yeah.
If it's cool, it counts is like really cool offside goals.
Yeah,
it has to be called back.
Okay, we said if it's cool, it counts on other occasions, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I would say the only version of which the goal wasn't already counted is there are some goal line saves in which you're like, I thought that went in, and what? Come on, it should have just counted. But that's
if there's controversy over whether or not the goal should count, in any way,
right? Yeah, like if
it ends up not counting.
Like let's say Kenny Nielsen's bicycle kick had hit the underside of the crossbar, bounced down on the ground, but hit the goal line and went out. We all thought it was a goal.
Someone had to decide that it was a goal or not a goal.
Yeah,
there was a. Yeah.
But the actual bicycle kick that happened, no. That was a miss.
It was not even on target. Yep. Okay.
Well, the crossbar.
Yes.
Those are our bets for this week's match against the Chicago Fire. We shall see. Our theme music is done by the insane team of, and it's the quarterly review, we should just say, James Valentine from Maroon 5, Nate Walcott from Bright Eyes, and Louis Palmer from Famous Jazz. You could subscribe to our YouTube, or you're probably already watching it there at youtube.com/happyfootsatfoot. And if you're there, hit thumbs up or a subscribe. Tell your friends about it. You got friends that are interested in the team because of Son? Send them our way. You really want to help us out? Go to patreon.com/happyfootsatfoot and consider becoming a friend of the foot. And you get to join our Discord if you pay the $5. You get to 15% off merch that you can buy over at happyfootsatfootpod.com. And just generally, tell your friends about the show. It's been growing. And at some point, you got to go to the doctor. But we're not there yet.
We might need to get it checked out at some point.
Any support really goes a long way to keep the show going and the community growing. I love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye.
Vince,
I love Sonny.
I love Sonny. Bye.
That's a start.